All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. We're starting the discussion on state of the nation. Here we talk about matters, politics, and everything in between. We'll start off with the newspapers, but let me introduce my guest real quick. Dr. Alfred Mutua, Machakos governor, is here. Thanks for making time. Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, Kiambu Senator and Majority Whip, is also here. Asante sana. Honorable John Kagusha, Speaker, Nyeri County Assembly, is also joining us. Thanks for making time. Samson Cherargei, Nandi Senator, has not joined us yet. If he does, we'll bring him in. Let's start off with the Daily Nation and the Standard. It's still the same story. Matiang'i unmasks hustler, different angles though. Then Matiang'i exposes DP property security. And Kagushi, I'll start with you. What do you make of this whole saga of the Deputy President's security? Is it what the Daily Nation is saying, that he's been unmasked as a hustler? Or is it what the Standard is saying, that he's been exposed, his property has been exposed to, it's almost like a security breach?
Yeah, well, first I thank Citizen TV for giving me this opportunity this morning to come and have this conversation. I walked in majestically. I did not stroll in. I heard you say that Kaguja is strolling in. I walked in majestically, as you saw. I want to say that what I see on the two newspapers today, this morning, is an attempt to try and change the narrative and the discourse that has been in the public domain recently, which has been a discourse on how the security has been withdrawn from the Deputy President. Yeah. And of course, that seems to have gotten the sympathies of Kenyans on the Deputy President. It actually seems to have been a move to humiliate the Deputy President, which seems to have humiliated, quote unquote, the hustlers. And so I think yesterday was an attempt by Matiang'i to try and change the conversation from the security or the insecurity that the Deputy President has been exposed to by trying to tactfully introduce his properties that apparently or allegedly they guard. Now, the interesting thing is that the Deputy President seems to disagree on some of the property. So, and the question then would be, is Matiang'i guarding property that doesn't actually belong to the Deputy President? But the issue of the Deputy President's property, in this case, I don't think is here, neither here nor there. Because I think the issue here has been the issue of the security of the VVIPs, and in particular here, the security of the Deputy President. And to try and introduce now an issue of property, I think really is giving disservice to this issue of the insecurity that the Deputy President has been exposed to. And when I say this, it's important that we know the Deputy President is not guarded because he holds onto certain ideologies or because he supports certain individuals. The Deputy President is guarded as a matter of law. It's constitutional, it's lawful. And it's not only the Deputy President who is guarded, even the opposition leader. Yeah. Even when we did not have Raila Odinga as a principal in the handshake, he still had security. Of course, from time to time, there was this humiliation where the security was reduced. There was also another time when the pension was withheld for Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. You might now know that that has been restated since they seem now to support the politics of the day. So these attempts to try and humiliate and intimidate other political players based on their stand, I think is not something that should be encouraged. Yeah. Especially matter security, I think is something that as a country we must discourage. We must hold on to certain professional attributes that we are known for as Kenyans, because if then we degrade ourselves to this level of exposing people and their security to that kind of a level because of what they subscribe to, then I think we will be doing a disservice. Yeah. And what happens then when, let's say, for heaven's sake, the Deputy President becomes the President, and then you have Matiang'i on the other side, who would still need to have some kind of security or some kind of protection. And you also have, maybe let's say, the retired President, you have the retired Prime Minister. Yeah. I mean, what will happen to them if he then withdraws their security? Remember, the same kind of humiliation has also been seen with Maraga, the CJ, because Maraga has taken a certain stand in the country. Now he complains that a lot of the things that he was entitled to officially, he's not getting them. Okay. And I don't know whether this will be restated maybe after he depronounces some of the stands that he has had in the past. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I think we need to do as a country, and we need to rethink as a country, so that we can be legal, we can be lawful, we can be constitutional, we can do things in a certain order that will add value to our political system and also to our ethos as Kenyans.
All right. Wamatangi, when you see 257, is this unmasking the hustler or exposing DP's property to security threats?
Trevor, I was trying to catch up with a few things here. Would you allow Mr. President to first take on it?
Okay.
And then I...
Yes, ceded his ground to you, Mr. President.
No, I'll take on
at least he calls you that.
After the President.
After we have... first of all, I want to say morning to all our viewers from all over the world. You know, Citizen is watched all over the world. And I want to say it's great for us to be alive at this time and to thank God when we wake up in the morning. A lot of people have left us. I was at a village whereby they have funerals basically every day, 2 per day. So COVID is real. People are leaving us in drones. So when you wake up in the morning and you're healthy and you're happy, like the way we are, let's thank God. Now, and also, I was look at this topic, you have to ask yourself, I mean, how secure do you feel living in this country? You know, are you feeling that your security is okay? Why does the deputy president need so many, people protecting him? Is it that he is in danger? What has he done to other people that people would like to kill him or want to destroy his property? So those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. But when I look at the figure of 257, having worked in government, national government for many years, having worked at State House, in the Cabinet Office and others, I understand how the numbers can accumulate. And the question is, there are points like, Honorable Kaguchi has said, this is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. This is the person who is second in command. If anything happened to the president, God forbid, he'd be the one who is taking over. So that person has to be protected as if that person is a president in waiting. Yeah. Because that's basically who you are as a deputy president. So the deputy president needs to be protected in a way that nothing would happen to them. That said also, there is a question of, but how much protection does one individual need? Because you are protected as an individual and maybe your immediate family. But does this extend to your chicken? Does the protection extend to your carrots? Does the protection extend to your cows and goats? Is there an abuse of the system and of the powers? And that is the conversation that we need to have. Because when I look at the papers and I look at what has been said, it looks like the Honorable Matiang'i is accusing the deputy president of having his chicken farms, being guarded. Kuku anapita hapa anapigiwa saluti ni askari wa GSU. Na huku Kayole, kule Machakos, kule Kisumu, watu wanaoa ni wakora na hakuna polisi wa kutosha. If you look at the number, the international number of the number of police officers, the ratio between police officers and wananchi, you find that we are way below the international, standard. So our police should be boots on the ground, looking for criminals and keeping us safe, not taking care of a chicken farm. So that's the main issue. But then there's another very important issue here. My friend here is trying to say that this was a distraction, something to distract us from the fact that his security was withdrawn and that he was gaining sympathy. I think this has really exposed the deputy president. It makes him look very bad, especially to people who live in the villages, people who live in our towns who are suffering from criminal elements. That one individual can have police officers guarding chicken. Na ukienda kwa polisi, uite polisi usiku wanakuambia kuna askari wa kutosha because polisi wanachunga kuku. That makes the DP look very bad. But the question is, who assigns the askaris to the DP? Does the DP assign the askaris to himself or they are assigned for him? So if you assign them to the deputy president, then do you accuse the deputy president of having too many? You know what I mean? I'm trying to be balanced here, you know? Do you say that it's his fault? Sinyi ndio umempatia. Naonekana hapa that Kalonzo had, had 26, Mudi Awori had 22, Kijana Amalo had 22, Mudavadi had 22, Raila had 57. So, why can't you just say that the deputy president has 60? Na ifikie hapo. Kama inaongezwa tujue kwa nini. So, the 257, he cannot assign himself, they are assigned to him. So, so the blame also lies in Matiang'i's office. And lastly, I think the main issue here is the fact that the minister said that when security was withdrawn from Aisha Jumwa, Oscar Sudi, because of their bad behavior, that they of what they saw as a bad behavior, and they did not, require, they did not, they were not of value to have security at that time, that the deputy president then ordered and directed some of his security to go and guard the people whose security had been withdrawn, basically poking his fingers into the nose of the establishment. Now that's criminal behavior. Okay. That's wrong. Okay. You don't do that.
All right.
Yes, Trevor, a few issues, and good morning.
Good morning.
Let me also say good morning to our viewers. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We're very happy you're here.
Yes, thank you.
We even started wondering what was going on.
Thank you. I had to go and hit the ground the way you had earlier.
Oh, okay. At least we know that Kerangai, who is missing today, I think he's busy doing a head count of the security officers. So give us, but we're happy you're
thank
here.
you. Yeah. Anyway, I had quite a few things, Trevor. I had a few losses in my family. I lost a few people. And actually today, after we finish, I'm heading for the burial of my mother-in-law. So I've been a bit busy, but still also on nation-building activities, not forgetting that with my running mate here, I also had to go and see what's happening on ground. Yeah. Good. And so I see we have a big topic here, and I've been following this discussion, Trevor. But I think, in my view, the best place to start is first to get things not only right, correct, but also true. Because if we don't debate on the basis of facts which are truthful, and facts must be truthful, because that's what makes them facts, then you get the debate wrong. First, there is, and has not been, from my understanding, even from what the Deputy President said, there has not been an issue of withdrawal of his security. That was never an issue. It was never the issue, actually. What was there was swapping of his security, replacement of his security detail from the GSU elite squad to the administration police squad. Yeah. So once we get that fact right, then you can discuss the rest of the content in the context of that truth. And I remember I heard the Deputy President himself saying, onwards, whether he is guarded by the AP, by the men in blue, regular police, the ultimate requirement is that he's secure. And so I think in the first place, in my view, it was completely erroneous to blow so much dust, cause so much debate, and hype so much anxiety over something that was so mundane as the replacement of those security officers. Yes, the concern can be raised. Will this and can these security officers being replaced from GSU to AP, do they have the adequate training? Are they capable of guarding the Deputy President, including all his other facilities that by law require to be guarded? And if the answer is no, then they cannot continue to guard him. But if the answer is yes, that they have the capacity to guard him and provide security as required, then I believe the rest of the debate is a dead debate. But because, you see, what has happened, and I think that's why we as political leaders have got to be very careful with the kind of things we say. Because we send the whole country into a very unuseful discussion that is so diversionary and so unuseful, or rather, that is unproductive at the end of the process, Trevor. If you look at the discussions we've had from last week up to today, if you ask any member of the public, what's top on our agenda, what are we discussing as a country? We've been discussing a falsehood that was labeled that the DP's security was withdrawn. And I would
that his life is in danger.
And I would be happy to say that, in fact, I liked what he himself said, because I believe from that he was focusing on being truthful himself, other than what guys around have been wanting to say. And unfortunately, Trevor, I'll tell you this, and I say this very clearly, that part of the big problem you find that we have in politics all the time is because there's so many fellows around the big boys that also want to be seen they're there, that they also want to be seen that they're doing something in the big fight and they're throwing punches and whatever, and we are fighting for this kingdom and whatever, such that, you know, it doesn't matter to them what the cost is, either to the country or even to the public opinion. And so I would want to discuss this in that light. That indeed what happened was that the police, and it was on TV anyway. You saw that. I think you heard it on Citizen when these APs were arriving, and then the GSU were being withdrawn, retreating. It was on Prime News. It is in that context then that we must discuss. When these gentlemen have been, the team has been deployed to the Deputy President's security, being drawn from the Administration Police Unit, does the DP, as our Deputy President, as the second in command, as I've said on this forum before, does he feel that he is either threatened, that his security is not up to date? Does he think that it is inadequate? And if the answer is yes again, that he feels that he is not adequately protected by those people, then it is his right. And Trevor, let's also deal with fact number 2. Fact number 2 is that it is not a favor for somebody elected into public office like the Deputy President has been elected to be provided with security. He does not have to cry for it. He does not have to go and beg for it. It is his right. It is assigned, it is allocated, it is due to him by dint of our Constitution and our law. And so, that fact then having been put correctly, in my view, Trevor, I would go with what he himself, the Deputy President, said. That he is okay with even those administration police officers. And life should continue. Until such a time, if he ever feels that he's threatened, then he can raise his hand and say, I don't like what's happening here, I don't like what's happening there, and then we move on. On the question of the properties that he owns or he doesn't own, this, Matiang'i put it in the context of saying this is why we have deployed our security officers as far as the Deputy President is concerned. And I'll tell you this, Trevor, because you have to put facts right. Even as members of Parliament, from the Speaker to us, and even if you are just a member of Parliament without any leadership office, you are allocated police officers who should, one, give you personal security, that's your private, your guards, and then your residence. You can apply to have, or rather it is allocated, but you can choose to take, and it is there for you. And so when Matiang'i was speaking about this, he was speaking, in my view, according to what the allocations to the Deputy President's residences and other interests are. The question is, have they all been taken? And if they have been taken up to go to those particular places, then that fact remains as such. And on the question of whether does the DP own this, doesn't he own that, that simply is a matter of him saying this is not my property and this is mine and this is mine, because Matiang'i said as far as he's concerned from his office, this is what he has allocated and assigned to this particular property. The DP can say this is not mine, this is not mine, this is mine, and the story is dead. The story is finished. So I think, having said that, I may not want to extend it beyond there, because I believe that inside this, newspaper and the other things that have been going on, there are other very, very important issues that we should be able to discuss to see how we can drive this country forward. And we wish the Deputy President well. I mean, and of course, he's there by dint of law, like I've said, he's elected alongside our principal, the President of this country. And what we want at the end of the day as Kenyans is to ensure that delivery of service for what we voted for the duo that we voted for, to serve our people, to give us to keep the promises they made. That's what we want to see.
All right.
Well, Trevor, just maybe to add, I would want to say it's also good for us to be very honest. Because sometimes if you are not honest, then Kenyans note very fast. Because, we have had, we have what we call the police standing orders. And clearly, it's important to understand how the police work. The administration police, the APs, you know, they do regular duties. I mean, they do administrative work also. And these are the formerly chief police. You know, these are the police that have been ordinarily allocated to the chief's office until recently, when now they were put as an independent body from the chief. And what happens is that as you become a higher VVIP in Kenya, then there is a special squad, there is a special police unit and a GSU that is trained. That's why they are called the elite GSU. They are trained to guard those kind of people, or that level of people, like presidency, you know, and the deputy president, the president. I'm not very sure whether the governors qualify for the elite security. I think they do. Maybe the senator may not, speaker here may not, the MPs may not. Those ones are guarded by the APs. And so it's important to note that the GSU, part of the mandate of the GSU, the elite squad, is to guard that level of individuals in the country. So by withdrawing that, because we saw the flag, the GSU flag, go down at the deputy president's residence, official residence, and then of course we saw the APs come in. By withdrawing the people who are trained to guard that level of personalities in the country, and this happens across board. It happens in this country, it happens in all the countries around the world. By withdrawing that security, the elite squad, it means that now you have degraded and downgraded the office and the person of that level. And that's the truth. Well, what I have seen the deputy president do is to take the lemons thrown at him and made lemonade. When you saw him now inviting the AP securities and sitting with them for a cup of tea, that in a way again seems to improve his image amongst you know, hustlers, so to say, and even amongst Kenyans. So I think Deputy President also seems to be cornering the system. Every time you do something negative to him, he kind of tries to turn it positively. And that's why Senator Wamatangi says he would rather go with what the Deputy President said, that he's comfortable, he's okay with the AP security. But is it a matter of him being okay? We as a country, are we not commanded, are we not mandated to give him a certain level of security? And I say this you know, very objectively, because this is something that needs to be done to every office holder. We don't need to be seeing this kind of shenanigans every time politicians seem to be in the opposing side. I quoted very clearly that just recently we had an issue of pension belonging to the former Prime Minister and former Vice President. We have had the same issue with Maraga, the former CJ. We have had this with many other people. I think even Ouko, the former Auditor General, completely. So it's something that we really must look at. Now, when again you bring to the fore the issue of properties that are being guarded, you now want to disclose the properties for all the VVIPs that are being guarded? Does Matiang'i now also disclose his property that are under security? Do we expose again the property that is under security, you know, with His Excellency the President? Do we do the same for the governors? Do you do that for the VVIPs in this country? Is it right? I mean, we need to think about it that way, so that we also develop and come up with a standard way of dealing with these issues. Otherwise, we will be taking Kenyans on a wild goose chase on matters that really they don't need to be so entangled with. And again, also, as the governor asked, did the Deputy President allocate himself the APs, the 257 security officers? Did he allocate himself? If he did not allocate himself, then it means by Matiang'i accepting that he has 257 police officers, he is indicting his own office. In fact, except for the swap that we have been told about, we have not been told of the reduction of the 257 security officers from these properties, if at all they belong to him, and which he has refuted. And again, it's also important to look at the security breaches that have been there in the past. We have had a security breach that happened in 2017 in Deputy President's home in Sugoi. You remember, it was covered live. And it's something that still remain unexplained. So these are some of the things that we really need to be alive to. because any threat to some of these VVIPs' lives can be a threat to our unity as a country. If for example, the way the Right Honorable Prime Minister has been in opposition, if you ever touched his life, I mean, you'd bring this country into shambles.
Okay.
Do we want to do that as a country? So I think we need to be serious about these things, and these are matters sensitive that we don't need to treat so casually.
Okay.